Hello everyone, I am FrostCloud on my Mr. Chaos the Cunning Wolf channel, and today I will be reacting to MLP Season 8, Episode 24, Father Knows Beast? Okay, other than this episode's name, until now, I was literally misreading it. I was going over the A and saying Father Knows Best, but, I mean, okay, I know this is going to be a Spike episode based on the screen caps I've seen, but apparently we're supposed to find out who Spike's actual parents are in this episode. Which makes sense, because, you know, about now we already know who all of the main six's parents are. We even know who Starlight's parents are, so I guess we need Spike to complete the set. So, yeah, I'm intrigued to find out what the deal is. So, without further ado, let's get started. Ta-da! There you go with that satisfying you know, clop sound effect and not like the other kind of... Okay, you know what, I'm not even gonna ruin that line. Okay, I thought Spike was getting good at them, I mean...
I just don't understand why none of your advice is helping.
Because she's teaching you to fly like a pony instead of a dragon.
What's the difference?
Well,
I mean, that makes sense.
For starters. Yes!
There you go! And this makes sense, too. Okay, this is something I kind of want to bring up right now. Like, I am no shipper. I'm pretty sure most of you know that by now, but honestly, versus Rarity, I think Spike and Smolder would actually work better. Not just because they're, like, both dragons and all, but, you know, it seems like the two actually get along better. I don't know, it's just a vibe that this sort of gives off, but okay. I won't break the flow anymore, let's just continue.
It's a pillow, but not for your head. Although it could be. It's a throw pillow. They're more casual. You can use them anywhere. You don't like it.
It's not that. It's just dragons don't really use pillows.
Yeah, they use rocks.
Maybe not.
What is this guy's deal?
So I'm taking you to Twilight's castle whether you like it or not.
Castle, eh?
Why does he keep stuttering? What's his problem?
I promise, my friends and I will only do enough to get you back on your claws.
This honestly makes me want to intentionally injure myself any day. Come on, you've been taking advantage of Fluttershy for too long anyway.
Coming to Ponyville wasn't an accident. I was looking for you. Spike? I'm your father.
Oh, the synopsis was right, I guess.
I've been searching everywhere for you, kid.
What happened anyway? Where's the mom?
Why was I an orphaned egg?
Kid, you sure you don't want to ask something else? It's a lot of painful memories.
Come on. He's grown anyway.
The mother was the best dragon I'd ever met.
Oh, she's nice.
Great migration, and even though she just laid your egg, we knew she'd have to go. But finding the migration route could take a lifetime, and you deserved a chance to know your mother. So I went looking for her, carried your egg to places no dragon or pony has ever been. Past Mount Eris, the abandoned home of the hippogriffs.
Ooh, did you visit Klooge Town?
You've been to Klooge
Hey!
Also, the hippogriffs returned to Mount Eris after we helped them defeat the Storm King.
Oh, well, have you heard of the land of...
There's another nod to people who enjoyed the movie.
Where your mother's trail finally led. To a prison world of dragon hunters, where I was forced to choose between surrendering myself or surrendering your egg. Of course, there was no way I was gonna sacrifice my boy, so they took me instead, and that's where I've been ever since.
Were those storm guards?
And how did the egg make it all the way back to Equestria by itself?
I wish I had all the answers.
Well, that's all in the past.
Well, there's still a lot of questions from me and probably a lot of other people who are the audience. Here's another music montage. That's one thing. Hey, so another year has flown by then. It's heartwarming again. Oh, wait a minute, it is. It is, okay. I'm like, wow, that much time has gone by already?
Is there anything you always wanted to do with me?
Not really.
Ah.
Spike, I'm gonna teach you a thing or two about being a dragon. So listen up, my boy, because I'm only
another song right after.
Place is grandiose.
Hey.
To a dragon, you just can't be a dragon here. Good job, my boy, but this is still just the beginning. Each and every dragon has a swag.
Yeah, I think there's a difference between helping your son and not accepting him for who he's become.
Every dragon must be free. Look at you.
Wait, that's Twilight's bed.
Time we make the lot all disappear.
Hey, Starlight.
Ha! You're right. I feel better already.
See, what did I tell?
Oh no, the room looks like, Secret of My Exes again.
Cause this dragon just can't wait to live here.
Wait, what? Wait a minute.
I didn't mean to barge in on you.
Don't worry about it.
What do you cover your eyes from? No creature wears clothes in this world.
Outdoors?
Yeah, and Sludge asked me to bring him the best breakfast Ponyville has to offer so he can show me how a real dragon would eat it. See you later.
And that's why I thought
I am scared to see what happens next. If that evil laugh he did earlier, I mean...
Spike, the bath isn't gonna fill itself, son.
Be right there, Dad.
But wait a minute. Seems like we got the roles reversed here.
I don't think you're supposed to be any different than who you are.
Maybe you just don't like that I have a real parent now.
Well,
That's not true. I'm glad Sludge is here. I just wish he wasn't such a...
Dragon? Of all ponies, I can't believe you would have a problem with that.
Oh.
this was something I was gonna bring up in my review on Moltdown, but... I mean, from the way everybody goes about, you know, Spike being raised here, it seems like Equestria is just a much better place in general than the Dragonlance. I mean, I understand all cultures and countries have their different ways, but I mean, you know, there is still a boundary between what is right and wrong, or what is cleanliness and what isn't. So I mean, I don't know, I just feel very mixed about this.
I'm so confused. It's been great having Sludge show me how to be a real dragon, and Twilight just doesn't get it.
What do you mean?
Wow, Smolder of all characters is going to be having the speech with Spike?
Nothing as well as he does.
What?
Well, not now, of course. I'm too busy bringing him pony stuff so he can show me what a dragon would do with it.
So, Sludge just lays around while you wait on him clawing tail? Dragons are rude and rebellious, but they aren't lazy lumps who take advantage of their kids.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
This bed is much too soft. Just take that silk robe off. We can't be dragons living here.
Yeah, I was wondering why he had that.
I'm not your father.
What?
I just said that to get in on this sweet castle life.
So
that whole story was made up? But that just leaves the question floating in the air. I mean, who is Spike's real parents anyway?
I already know who my real family is.
Oh, it's me, right?
Mm-hmm. Besides,
And the rest of the main six.
there's no way I'm living without pillows.
Yeah, we all know Spike. Alright, I feel like I sort of know how I feel about this episode, but at the same time I don't really. But I'll elaborate on that soon, but Sludge. I can easily say, in my opinion, I consider him to be one of the worst characters of the show, and I don't mean in terms of execution, but in terms of what he did as an antagonist. I mean, you know, I didn't even see what was coming until the truth was revealed, but taking advantage of someone's desperation to know who their real parents are, or are just curious of knowing who their real parents are, is just one of the lowest things you can ever do. And honestly, my respect for Smolder actually grew a lot more with this episode. Like, not just with that nice little dragon-to-dragon moment back in Moltdown, but, you know, we had more here, and I was really glad that, versus Twilight, Smolder was, the real voice of reason near the end, and I really liked that touch. And from the way Smolder was going about how dragons actually act, I like how she admits that, yes, dragons, kind of like griffins, we're rude and all, but we don't take advantage of each other, and also we don't just lay back and be lazy and just let others do our dirty work. We at least do it ourselves, so we're at least not lazy, so... I like how, it sort of feels like an admission, like, yeah, the Dragonland isn't great, but, they still do have some dignity, they still have, things that they can do, things that they're at least not, if you know what I mean. And honestly, thinking about it, did Sludge just make up that whole story about Spike's mother? Okay, looking back on it, it even seemed like a wild shot, even just in storyline perspective, but, like, where was he? Was he somewhere near the Storm Kingdom or something? Was that his, like, prison or something? Because, I saw shadows of what looked like storm guards around Spike's mother, so, I mean, that really got me on the edge of my seat, but just knowing that it's made up, not just, for the fact that what Sludge did was one of the lowest things I've ever seen a character do in the show, but, it also annoyed me greatly as well. I'm thinking, oh, come on, that was an interesting story, and it turns out none of it existed. And what's even more frustrating is, this was a minor complaint I brought up in my review on The Perfect Pair. How I said my only flaw, my only slight disappointment with the episode is we didn't actually get the answer, like, where is Applejack's parents? Like, at least we know they exist, but, like, where are they? But here, it's, like, even worse, like, now we not only not know who they are, but we also don't know, like, where they are right now, so... But, yeah, that's what I mean, but... Sludge, okay, I'm gonna try not to repeat myself too much, but right next to what Lightning Dust did in the washouts and a couple of other characters like Sven Gallop and, like what Grandpair did before he apologizes in the end, this, in terms of what they did as villains, I don't mean like they're poorly written, but in terms of what they did as antagonists, Sludge is definitely one of the biggest, and okay, I'm gonna go on a bit of a rant about Sludge. Like, I know this isn't really a fair reason to flaw the episode for, and I'm probably not going to if I so choose to review this episode more in detail one day. But I know it's not usually a good thing to go off, judge somebody by their stereotypes and all, but, from his voice and, his design and everything, I just got this feeling like something wasn't really right. Like, for a second, I thought he might have actually been his dad, maybe he was just different. But, and when he did that evil laugh, that definitely rubbed me the wrong way again. And for some reason, still all the way, I didn't know he was going to do this. I was thinking, okay, is he just doing that for, just shits and giggles or something? Or, like, what's he doing that for? But, of course, we all find out at the end, and, okay... I'm not going to repeat myself, but, like, still, you take advantage of somebody's desperation, or even just curiosity, of knowing who their biological relatives are. That is just sick, but anyway. And you know what? I'm not even going to repeat my whole rant about, the Dragonlands being a terrible place, because after hearing those quotes from Smolder, like, even though I've already seen this episode once, maybe it has something to do with me being on the autism spectrum or something, but, I have this ability where even, after just a standard Chaos Reacts, where after I watched an episode or just anything after one viewing, I can rewatch it in my head and, review it from the best of my ability. It's like I can play clips in my head. But going about how Smolder went about the Dragonland, again, it made it seem like it had standards. So, you know what? I think I have actually less complaints about the Dragonland, because Smolder literally admits, yeah, it's very flawed compared to Equestria, but we do have some standards, so... And going about how nice of a dragon, Princess Ember is, that's gotta be something. And I bet Spike's mother, whoever she is, I don't even know if the mother in the story was actually his mother, because again, Sludge played us all. But I wonder if she was also nice as well. I mean, if Thorax proved anything, he proved that, a changeling can be good. So maybe the same can go for dragons. And we already know it has, but that's what I mean. When you look at Thorax and, most of the dragons in the Dragonland, you can tell that, some of them can be good. Some of them can be, protagonist outcasts, if that even makes sense. And I can definitely relate to Spike when he says, he may not be my actual dad, but you are my family. And I know what he means, you were the ponies I grew up with, or just in general, you were the ones I grew up with, so of course I feel the closest to you. And, it's not exactly the same for me. Yeah, I grew up with my parents, but, the reason why I say I can relate to Spike in that field is because with the condition my family is currently in right now, the majority of you know, there are times where literally just the thought of spending something, I don't know, like Christmas or something with just my friends instead of my family, that would actually feel better because, I have certain friends that I actually feel even closer to than my actual mother. Like, I know that may sound terrible, but, I still do love my mother, like, we don't get along all the time, but, despite our differences, I don't let an argument end our relationship. It can get frustrating, but I don't ever let that end it, so. But that's what I mean, I feel like, my closest friends are also my family, with the way my life is nowadays, these are people I can rely on, people who I can, trust to, like, be there for me when times get tough. And as for the song, okay, thinking about it, like, yeah, it's a catchy one. Definitely wouldn't call it a beautiful one, but it's not meant to be one of those songs anyway. And you know me, like, as I mentioned in my review on My Little Pony the movie, the reason why I'm the Friend You Need was the lowest on the list, and I don't mean I hated it, I also liked it as well, but the reason why it was just my least favorite was because, I'm more for, like, beautiful, songs, like The Magic Inside, or, like, Open Up Your Eyes, or, like, a couple of other songs, but catchy songs, I like them, but they're just never really my thing, but with a character like Sludge thrown into the mix, like, if any of you like the song, I mean, that's fine, but I mean, I might actually consider this one of my least favorite songs of the show, and in terms, I mean, actually kind of dislike it, like almost, to a point where I would literally say, I think the song was I Can Do It On My Own, from, Flutterbrudder, to a point where I would actually sort of consider that song better. And, what I really want to do an in-depth review on that episode in the future, since it is one of my least favorite episodes in the entire series, but, part of the reason why I didn't like that song was because, just the very presence of Zephyr Breeze, the fact that he's done so little to deserve an ending like that. Okay, I won't get into further things because, then that'll just lessen the reason to make a review, but here, with Sludge, I mean, just with his voice, I don't... Maybe it's just because I'm not a fan of characters, such as Sludge, but I don't know. Just something about it, brought a level of discomfort to me. But that's just personally me. But other than that, I don't really have anything else to say. I would say, like, would I give this episode a blue 10? Not really. I don't really picture myself giving it an orange 10 either. Could get a green 10 or something lower, like, I don't know, maybe this will change after I watch it a couple more times, but this episode feels sort of slow, if you know what I mean, and maybe what made it slow is because maybe my personal dislike for Sludge, so, and the fact that he got a lot of screen time in this episode, maybe that's what made it feel tedious until finally Smolder was the voice of reason at the end, so... Yeah, maybe that's the reason, I don't know. Maybe that's not even a fair reason to flaw the episode for, but, it's just what I personally feel. But bottom line, first impressions, I liked this episode. Again, I've stated my issues with it, but, we'll just have to see what happens in the future, but that's just my honest opinion on the episode for now. Anyways, that was my reaction to MLP Season 8, Episode 24, Father Knows Beast. Yeah, Sludge was definitely a beast. Hope you all enjoyed it. My name is Frostcloud, and have a wonderful day. Bro Huff.